Back when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I had a deck which contained a certain card. That card was Blackwing, Gale the Whirlwind, and I absolutely loved that card enough that I wanted to make a full Blackwing deck when I properly realised that there's archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh and not just cramming a load of cards into a deck. I'm so glad that Blackwings have received so much support over the years. They've received a lot of really good support as well. So today I'm going to present to you my deck profile for Blackwings, and then in the next coming weeks we will be doing our usual key cards and our combo guide for Blackwings. But with that, let's get into the profile. If you enjoy the content, then please do subscribe down below. I'm trying to hit 250 subscribers by the end of the year, and it'd be really appreciated if you could help me out with that. So let's get on into it. So let's start off with the monsters for the deck then, guys. We are starting off with 3 copies of Blackwing, Simoon, the Poison Wind. So Blackwing, Simoon, the Poison Wind. If you control no monsters and have this card in your hand, you can banish one other Blackwing monster in your hand. Place 1 Black Whirlwind from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone, then either send this card to the graveyard or immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon it without tributing. You're always going to be choosing to normal summon because of what the effect of Black Whirlwind is. Also, this can't be Ash Blossomed because it is not being added to the hand or anything like that. It's being played straight to the field. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Dark monsters. That's not a problem. And you can only use this effect of Simoon the Poison Wind once per turn. During the end phase, send the Black Whirlwind placed by this effect to the graveyard, and if you do, take 1000 damage. Honestly, that is a small price to pay for what you're going to be able to do with that Black Whirlwind. Next up, we are playing 3 copies of Blackwing, Sudri the Phantom Glimmer. Sudri is our main searcher for the deck alongside Black Whirlwind. So when this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 card that mentions Blackwing Dragon from your deck to your hand, except for Blackwing, Sudri the Phantom Glimmer. And you contribute 1 monster, special summon 1 Phantom Glimmer token, which is a Wing Beast Tuner, Dark level 2 with a 700 attack and defense, and then you take 700 damage. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn that you activate this effect, except for synchro monsters, and you can only use this effect once per turn. Really useful. Both effects are really good, but obviously being able to normal summon it and just get that extra search is amazing, especially, like I say, when you combine it with the Black Whirlwind from Simoon. Next up, we have got 3 copies of Blackwing, Vata, the Emblem of Wandering. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Blackwing Vata, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Vata once per turn this way. During your main phase, you can send this card on the field to the graveyard along with 1 or more non-tuner Blackwing monsters from your deck, so that the total levels sent equal exactly 8, and if you do, special summon 1 Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Dark monsters. Again, the Dark monster caveat is not a problem at all. And just being able to summon that Blackwing Dragon is fantastic. Next up, we have got 3 copies of Blackwing, Shamal the Sandstorm. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to place 1 Black Feather Whirlwind from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. So once again, can't be Ash Blossomed. If your Blackwing Synchro Monsters or Blackwing Dragon is special summoned to your field whilst this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and then target 1 Blackwing monster in your graveyard to add it to your hand and then take 700 damage. You can only use this effect once per turn. Each effect once per turn, should I say. Again, fantastic card, just allows for extra extension along the way. I love Shamal, it's so good. Next up, we are playing 2 copies of Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. I like to play 2 copies of Zephyros just because if you draw into it, it's a little bit of a problem getting it into the graveyard for the extra summon. But I tend to like to play 2. So if this card is in your graveyard, you can return 1 face-up card that you control to your hand to special summon this card from the graveyard. And if you do take 400 damage, you can only use this effect of Zephyros the Elite once per duel. So it is something that you got to watch out for, how often that you can use it. Next up, we are playing Blackwing, Chinook, the Snowblast. So you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target one face-up monster that your opponent controls to send one Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do until the end of this turn, the targeted monster loses 700 attack and also negate its effects. This is a quick effect if you control a Dark Synchro monster. So that is a fantastic little hand trap that you can actually just search for in this deck. I like to play two, again, just in case we need targets to be able to send with Vata, because one of the targets is Harmattan, so we are running low on level 2, so we do need to have an extra one in there, I think, anyway. So, we play one copy of Blackwing, Harmattan the Dust. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Harmattan, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can only special summon Harmattan once per turn this way. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one other Blackwing monster that you control and increase this card's level by that monsters. The level modulating doesn't occur all that much in this, but it is handy to be able to have. Mainly we're using it to send with Vata to the graveyard. Next up, we are playing one copy of Blackwing Shanga the Waning Moon. If a monster with 2,000 or more attack is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Shanga once per turn this way. And if you control a Blackwing Synchro monster, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one face-up card that your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use this effect once per duel. So again, another once per duel effect. It is really powerful though, because you're pretty much always going to have a Blackwing Synchro monster available to you at some point, so you'll be able to just pop a card as a quick effect. So next up, we are playing a single copy of Blackwing Orochi the Squall. If you control a Blackwing monster other than the Blackwing Orochi the Squall, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon one Orochi once per turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro Material monster, you can target one monster on the field to change that target's battle position. The second effect doesn't come up all that much, but being able to just special summon it from your hand, especially when we can search it, is really useful for going in for odd-numbered synchro plays. Next up, we are playing a single copy of Radiant the Multidimensional Kaiju. We're playing this as a target for Small World, so we want this to stay in our deck wherever we can. Obviously, if we don't draw Small World and we do draw the Kaiju, then it's really useful and for board breaking as well. But yeah, hopefully we're not getting to that point and we can just Small World with it. It basically doesn't share a combo other than the Dark attribute. It doesn't share anything else with any of your other monsters, so that means that you can use it as a Small World target to search for pretty much anything. And lastly, we are playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom just to round out the monsters. So that is all of the monsters that we've got. Let's move on to those spells. So we've got quite a few spells and traps in this deck. We are starting off by playing 3 copies of Black Whirlwind. We want to see as many Black Whirlwinds as we possibly can. When a Blackwing monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add one Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand that has less attack than that monster. That is not once per turn, and if you've got multiple copies of Black Whirlwind, you are searching twice per normal summon. And we've got essentially ways of summoning normal summoning 3 times on our turn, so that's potentially sort of 6 or 9 searches if you've got all 3. Next up, we have got 2 copies of Black Feather Whirlwind. So once per turn, if you special summon a Dark Synchro monster from the extra deck, except during the damage step, you can target one of your Blackwing monsters or Black-Winged Dragon that is banished or in your graveyard with attack less than the special summoned monster and special summon it. And then once per turn, if a Dark monster that you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can remove one Black Feather counter from your field instead. So again, that second effect, hopefully you're not getting to that point, but it is quite useful if you can get to that to be able to protect your monsters. But the first effect of just going in for extra extension is fantastic. Next up, we are playing 3 copies of Small World to be able to search for our Blackwing Simoon the Poison Wind. Blackwing Simoon the Poison Wind is the one that we want to search for the most on turn 1. And Small World just allows you to go into that as long as Radiant's still in the deck. And then finally, we have a copy of Pot of Prosperity and a single copy of Called by the Grave, just to try and make sure that these searches and things like that can go through. Moving on to the traps now, we are playing a single copy of Blackwing Twin Shadow. Shuffle 2 of your Blackwing monsters, 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner that are banished and or in your graveyard into the deck/extra deck. Then special summon 1 Blackwing synchro monster or Black-winged dragon from your extra deck, whose level equals the total levels of those monsters. This is treated as a synchro summon. And if you control 2 or more Blackwing monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. So really useful to be able to synchro summon a monster on your opponent's turn for a start, and also synchro summoning a monster not necessarily using the correct things that we need. So as long as we're shuffling 2 Blackwing monsters that add up to 8, for example, we could summon our Silverwind the Ascendant, which requires 2 tuners, but we don't need it with Blackwing Twin Shadow. So that's really useful. Next up, we have got 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, and then 3 copies of Synchro Zone. So Synchro Zone, neither player can declare attacks except with Synchro monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Synchro Zone once per turn. If a non-tuner Synchro monster is sent to your graveyard, you can target one of those monsters and special summon it, and if you do, it is treated as a tuner. And then during your opponent's main phase, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using monsters that you control as material. So using it as a floodgate, just so that any non-synchro decks can't attack, is just going to be really fantastic for us. All right, that is everything for our main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck now. Starting off with one of my favourite cards, to be honest, one of my favourite cards in the entire game. We've got 3 copies of Black-Winged Assault Dragon. So, it requires 1 tuner synchro monster and 1 non-tuner monster. Must be either synchro summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by banishing 1 tuner synchro monster and 1 Black-Winged Dragon from your face-up field and or graveyard. Each time that your opponent activates a monster effect, you can place a black feather counter on this card when that effect resolves, and if you do, inflict 700 damage to your opponent. That is not once per turn, so you can be inflicting 2100 points of damage to your opponent every monster effect that they activate. And then during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card with 4 or more black feather counters on it to destroy all cards on the field. It's an absolutely broken card. It is fantastic. It's so fun to play. Next up, we're playing a single copy of Blackwing Dragon. I am tempted sometimes to play 2 copies of Blackwing Dragon, just because of being able to use Vata again later on. But if you would take damage from a card effect, place 1 black feather counter on this card instead. This card loses 700 attack for each black feather counter on it. And once per turn, you can remove all black feather counters on this card. Target 1 face-up monster that your opponent controls. That target loses 700 attack for each black feather counters that you removed, and if it does, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack lost by this effect. Really, a really useful card. Just being able to protect. We've got a lot of cards that kind of damage us when we're trying to do their effects, so it protects us from that. And as well, we can just step into it with Vata and just instantly have a level 8 on the field, so it's really useful. Next up, we are playing a single copy of Blackwing Full Armor Master. This is a level 10, needs a Blackwing tuner and a non-tuner monster. Unaffected by other cards' effects. Each time a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, place 1 wedge counter on that opponent's monster, maximum of 1. And after that effect resolves. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster that your opponent controls with a wedge counter and take control of it. Once per turn, during your end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field that have a wedge counter. Absolutely fantastic card, really useful. Next up, we are playing a single copy of Blackwing Unsung the Starlight. If this card is special summoned, inflict 800 damage to your opponent, then 1 face-up monster of your opponent controls loses 800 attack and defense. You can only use this effect of Blackwing Unsung the Starlight once per turn. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Blackwing monster in addition to your normal summon or set, and you can only gain this effect once per turn. So getting that extra normal summon is really useful when we're recycling our Sudris. Just allows us to go in for those searches a lot more. Next up, we are playing 2 copies of Blackwing Barrier Storm the Wicked Wind. If this card is synchro summoned, you can send 1 Blackwing monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's level becomes the same as that monster's. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can banish 1 Blackwing monster from your graveyard or face-up field, except for the destroyed monster, and special summon the destroyed monster to your field in defense position. And you can only use each effect once per turn. Barrier Storm's a really useful card, just be able to level modulate it. It is also a tuner itself as well, which is how we can go into the Blackwing Assault Dragon really easily. Next up, we've got a single copy of Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. So this is what I was talking about. It requires 1 Blackwing tuner plus 2 or more non-tuner monsters. When this card is synchro summoned, you can select and destroy up to 2 face-up monsters on the field with defense lower than this card's attack. So lower than 2800 is pretty good. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn that you activate this effect. The next time a Blackwing monster that you control would be destroyed by battle during your opponent's turn, it is not destroyed. This effect only happens once. So the important thing about this is it is a when effect, so it can miss timing. So you do have to make sure that you're activating your Twin Shadow at the right time. Basically, it has to be Chain Link 1. And you can summon this by shuffling 2 that equal level 8. It doesn't matter about whether it's 1 tuner and 2 or more non-tuners. It's 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner in that case. And you can do that in your opponent's turn, so you don't have to worry about the skipping your battle phase part. Okay, next card that we have is 1 copy of Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. Okay, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish it. If this attacking card destroys an effect position monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Also can make a second attack on a monster during this battle phase. Really powerful monster, and you can just go into it really easily with this deck. Another one that is really powerful, we're going to put 1 copy of Bastille Dispatcher. You can target 1 banished light or dark monster, special summon to your field. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can target 1 banished card, shuffle it into the deck, and then if you shuffle it into your deck, destroy that monster, or if you shuffled it into your opponent's deck, negate that activated effect. We're going to be playing 1 copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, just because we need a little bit of protection on the field at times. It has a quick effect if you can target 1 face-up card that your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 tuner in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. Ooh. Okay, next up, we're playing a little bit of a Red Dragon Archfiend package. We are playing 1 copy of Scarred Dragon Archfiend, 1 copy of Red Dragon Archfiend, and then 1 copy of Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. Just to have extra things that we can go into. Scarred Dragon Archfiend, when he's used as a material for a synchro summon, you just get to summon the Red Dragon Archfiend out as well. So it's a little bit of a good extender. Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend, I'm tempted to put the extra Blackwing Dragon in rather than Scarlight, but it is useful for being able to get a bit of damage on your opponent as well. So fantastic. The main thing that we're trying to do is get this Blackwing Assault Dragon going. But they are options for you. So with that, that is the end of the Blackwing deck profile. If you have enjoyed this, then please do subscribe. I'm trying to hit 250 subscribers by the end of the year. And we are going to be doing a deep dive into some of these cards and talk about why they are so powerful, as well as showing you some combos in the next few weeks. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. I will see you next time. Bye.